The Champions League is coming to an end, but we've got three of the very best games in the competition remaining. We've got two semi-finals and the ultimate grand final in Munich, but it's time to predict the final two semi-finals of the Champions League. Now, it was absolute chaos in leg one in both games, and we're going to be breaking down the games, and we're going to be seeing which two teams are going to be battling in Munich in the Champions League final 2025. But if you are enjoying the Champions League content, like the video and hit that big red subscribe button if you love the Champions League, because there's plenty more where this came from with the upcoming Club World Cup. And let's get into our semi-final predictions. And we're going to start off with Internazionale of Milano versus FC Barcelona. I was at this game and oh my word, damn, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. What a game of football. Thuram scoring after a minute. What a insane start to the game. Dumfries whips in that second cross. An absolutely outrageous back flick from Thuram. Dumfries himself gave Inter a 2-0 lead from a corner. They are the corner kings. They're the counter-attack kings. They're just so Italian. But they're actually good to watch, Inter, surprisingly. And I tell you what, they went 2-0 up. But then Barca woke up, and that 17-year-old sensation, Lamine Yamal, with an absolute masterclass. What a goal to make it 2-1. Torres scored to make it 2-2 from a Rafinha knockdown, and Inter fired their way back in front. Another corner, another Denzel Dumfries goal before Rafinha's rocket hit the bar and hit Sommer's back and ended up in the back of the net for 3-3. And Inter were this close. Oh my goodness me. How close is this? How close is Inter from the winner? It's a literal toe. It's a literal toe. But what a fantastic game in Barcelona. Number one, I did not expect Barcelona to score 3 goals. Number two, I did not expect Inter to concede 3 goals. Number three, I did not expect Inter to score 3 goals. And number four, I did not expect Barcelona to concede 3 goals. So all in all, expect the unexpected, because that's exactly what happened. It was an absolutely quality game of football. From minute 1 to minute 90, it was two teams going at each other. And I tell you this, a lot of people had a go at me in the comments for this in the last one. Inter can score when they want. And they were like, oh, but they didn't score against Milan in the cup final, or they didn't score against Bologna. Well, they scored 3 goals when they wanted to. 2 from a set piece and 1 after 30 seconds. You could not start a tie away at Barcelona any better than how Inter Milan did. Literally coming at them from the off, coming at them on the break, and scoring after 30 seconds with an outrageous goal from Thuram, the French masterclass himself. Just what a start. And then to score quite easily from 2 set pieces, I'll tell you, it was absolutely brilliant from Inter, and it was a fantastic performance, and they are definitely in the box seat going in to these second legs, this second leg at San Siro. Imagine going to Barcelona, they got a draw. What you've got to do in Europe is draw away and win at home. And Inter Milan can quite easily do that. This is an uphill battle for Barcelona, it really is. As good as Barcelona were at times, they dominated the possession, they dominated the chances, they got picked apart. And it could have been 4-3. And I tell you, in the second half, they were getting caught on the counter-attack very, very frequently. And if Thuram had given a better ball, they had 2 men over in the middle, DeMarco was booming forward, Fratesi when he came on impressed me, and I tell you, how good was Nico Barella in that game? He controlled that midfield. He set those counter-attacks up. And Inter were dominated. And Barcelona are probably going to be the most disappointed side. They didn't walk away with the victory, which they would have wanted to get at home. And albeit they came back twice, they'll be disappointed. And this is Inter's game to lose for me. This is Inter's game to lose. And whoever scores first, I think, may go on to get this win. And I honestly, as much as I want Barcelona to go through, I really just don't see a way in which Inter bottle this. I really don't. They're so distributed. It was weird not to see Pavard start. Maybe he was suspended. But I tell you, the back three were so good. There was a Barcelona attack, right, where they came 1 and 1 and 1. 3 waves of attacks after the other. Bastoni stopped one. Absolutely brilliant defending. Acerbi stopped the other. Absolutely brilliant defending. And Bisek stopped the other one. Another piece of brilliant defending from all 3 centre-backs. And Denzel Dumfries, other than Yamal, was man of the match. Up and down that right-hand side, scored 2 goals from corners, got the assist for the Thuram goal. He had the game of his life. And DeMarco looked pretty good on the left-hand side as well. And Barcelona really succumbed to those inverted fullbacks in which Inter play. 1 minute they're in midfield, the next minute they're coming down the line. Inter is so distributed and so well organised. And Barcelona were kind of a little bit shocked. It caught them by surprise. Quite literally. 30 seconds into the game, they were 1-0 down. And then 15 minutes into the game, they were 2-0 down. And then they had to wake up, and they really got the crowd on their side. And I thought they were going to use that momentum and edge it out. I thought Barca at 3-3 were just going to nick that goal and make it 4-3. But it was a very, very controlled Inter performance, especially in that second half. Barca had all the momentum going into half-time, got themselves level before the half-time break. But Inter controlled themselves, really well organised at the back, compact, distributed all together in the line. Bastoni and Acerbi were dictating it. Basek had a great game coming forward. They were organised in midfield. They looked so dangerous on the counter-attack in the second half and ultimately got that third goal. Albeit, they did not attack until they got the third goal. Then they were going for the fourth, which I was like, what on earth is going on here, Inter Milan? You won a fourth goal? You're not happy with 3-2? Even if Barca score and make it 3-3 and Zaghi, you're not happy with that? No, they were going for them. They were going for them on the break. And that's what concerns me about Barcelona. They're a little bit inexperienced when it comes to the Champions League as this group of players. The club isn't. They're one of the most decorative in European football, especially when it comes to Champions League. They've won 5 titles. Only Liverpool, AC Milan and Real Madrid have got more titles than Barcelona. But I'm talking about this group of players because there's a hell of a lot of youngsters in there. Fermin Lopez came on, had a good game. You've got Yamal, 17. He's one of the most oldest heads on the pitch. He guided that team to that comeback. He was that good. Kabasi made a brilliant sliding challenge to keep out an Inter one-on-one. I tell you now, it was actually 2-on-1. And Kabasi made one of the best defensive tackles that I've seen in the Champions League this year. But I just don't know in terms of the squad. I didn't think Pedri had his best game. I thought he played okay. He didn't have his best game. I thought De Jong was a little bit all over the place in that midfield. Picked up the ball a couple of times, but was kind of asking a bit too much of Pedri and got caught out of position quite a lot. But where Barca really struggled was Balde. He was not there, and they had the young lad coming in on the left-hand side, and he really did struggle. He was good in the first half. He was solid, but... well, no, he wasn't, actually, because both of Inter's goals kind of came from the right-hand side. The early goal from Denzel Dumfries was crossed in from their right, from Barcelona's left. And the corner, it's his side at the back stick, in which I don't know whose Dumfries' man was, but whoever they was, they lost him twice. So whether that's Igor Martinez, whether that's Kabasi, I don't know who Denzel Dumfries was being marked by, but they've had a mare. But Barca was so good on the offense. They were so good on the offense. They probably could have scored more than 3 goals, but so could have Inter. So it's quite hard to predict this one, guys. It really is. But I'm going to go with my gut. And as much as I want Barcelona to win, I think that result at Stadio Luis Company is very telling for Internazionale of Milan. I think that is a very telling result. To go there, to score 3 goals, Inter to score 3 goals away, doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. They scrape past Young Boys 2-0 in the groups. I know this is a brilliant Inter side, and I do think this brilliant Inter side is going to Munich. I really do think they're going to reach a Champions League final. Everybody's putting Barcelona as the favourites, but for me, now, in this tie, Inter are in control. And they could easily lose control, because Barcelona do have the quality to be able to pinch Inter whenever they want. They've got your Rafinha, they've got Yamal. I'm hoping Lewandowski's back fit, because although Torres scored, Lewandowski just brings that new dynamic in that front three. He lets Rafinha and Yamal go and be more creative than they already are, because he's going to be on the edge of that 6-yard box and he's going to be tapping it into the back of the net. He is one of the best strikers I've ever seen. His goal-scoring instinct is just second to none. But I'm going with Inter to win. I think Inter have got themselves in a great position. The fact that they're at San Siro, the fact that they've got the good atmosphere behind them, I think Inter are going to win this game by 2-1. Inter to score first and then really take charge of this game. I think Barcelona will equalise, but then I just think Barca from corners really struggled against Inter, and Inter from set pieces really could hurt Barcelona and on the break. I think they'll be playing counter-attacking football at San Siro. I think they'll be playing set-piece football at the San Siro, but I just think Inter have that such good result from the first leg. I really just don't see a way in which they get themselves over the line. I'm going to go 2-1. I'm going to go... Lautaro Martinez was quite non-existent in the game at Barcelona, so I will go Thuram to score, and I'll go with one of the centre-backs. It might be an Acerbi goal from a corner, or maybe Pavard starts, or Bissek, or Denzel Dumfries scores another. Who knows? He had the game of his life. Can he do the same in San Siro? But let me know who you guys think is going to win. If you put Barcelona, I respect that. I do think Barca have the capabilities to win. I just think Inter have got themselves in such a good position that they can Italian master their way to the final now. This is what they wanted. They needed a good result in the first leg and to control that game in the second leg. And they put themselves in a position to do exactly that. So I'm going Internazionale to win by 2-1 and book their place in Munich. Paris Saint-Germain take a lead against Arsenal to the Parc des Princes for the second game. And I'm going to be there. I am going to be going to Paris for this game. And Arsenal were very, very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. I was expecting a lot more from them. I was expecting a hell of a lot more from them. From the tifo to the performance on the pitch, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. And we have to talk about this tifo. Oh my goodness me. Now, a bit of context. The club, Arsenal have a group, Ashburton Army, like the PSG Ultras do. PSG have 3 sets of Ultras, but Arsenal have one called the Ashburton Army. They made this La Casa de Papel, which is the money heist theme tifo, with like Arteta as like the professor and then all his like sidekicks as the players. Now, the club blocked this because they were going to get fined from UEFA. I don't know if you know, UEFA have to approve tifos in the Champions League. Otherwise, the club get fined. City did get fined for the Rodri make you cry. So, yeah, we got fined for that, but the club still pushed it out anyway because they wanted to back the fans, but Arsenal didn't and said, yeah, we're going to do this. And they created all this hype for this tifo here. This absolute travesty. This absolute travesty of a tifo. Oh, all this hype for that. And then to concede after 4 minutes and literally have 2 one-on-ones for the rest of the game. I didn't think Arsenal would be as bad as they were. And maybe this is just one step too far for Mikel Arteta's men. Maybe they used all this emotion and play and good stuff against Real Madrid to knock them out. But the minute that they come up against PSG, who they beat comfortably in the group stage by 2-0, this is a different PSG though, isn't it? The fact that they scored first was literally exactly what Arsenal didn't want. You cannot concede early home in the semi-final in the first leg. You just can't. The fact that you're at home first, yes, it's a bit of a slight advantage, but disadvantage. But maybe I thought for Arsenal they could use it as an advantage because that's what they did against Madrid. They slapped them in the first leg and they controlled the second game. But it was far from that. Far from that. For me, it should have been a penalty. That's just my personal opinion. He's dragged him down. He's held him down. He's got wrong side. Kvaratskhelia got past him. It should have been a penalty. But the Saka one seemed a little bit harsh. But it's the same again. He did kind of pull them down. So the fact that that didn't get given a penalty and the Saka one got given as a foul was a little bit weird for me. You either give them both or you don't give them both. So a little bit of inconsistency there. But at the end of the day, both teams got away with one, if you look at it that way. The fact that Saka was through on goal from Nuno Mendes' mistake, and then Saka allegedly pulled him down. He's given that as a foul, but Arsenal have got away with one because, personally, I thought it was a penalty. Let me know in the comments, pen or no pen. For me, it was a pen. It was soft, but it's a pen. He's dragged him down. He's got wrong side. It's a pen. But yeah, I was quite disappointed from Arsenal. No control in the midfield. Ødegaard got absolutely pocketed from Neves. And PSG were just so controlling the possession. They dictated the game. The game flew the way that they want it to. And they just controlled. They really did control. They did an Arsenal at the Bernabeu. They just absolutely controlled them. And this is how good PSG are. They are absolutely phenomenal. Their turnaround since that second half against City, I'll go on about it every single Champions League prediction video. That second half against City has changed their season. They were probably going to win Ligue 1 anyway. They're in the Coupe de France final. And now they're probably going to win it. They are my favourites. They're probably going to win it. And the only thing that can probably stop them is Italian mastermind defending like Inter Milan have. And Inter Milan have that experience recently of losing a Champions League final by playing too negative against City. I don't think that'll happen. I think it'll make a great final. So you can tell which way I'm kind of going in this prediction. I think it's too much of an uphill battle for Arsenal, I really do. I think you've got to get something at home. What you do in Europe, as stated before in the video, you've got to draw away and win at home. If you lose at home, It is so incredibly difficult to come back from that. They've got to go to Paris, where the atmosphere is one of the best in the world, I do have to say. 3 sets of ultras just giving it large the whole game. They've got boys on the megaphones. It's impossible to hear yourself think on the pitch, never mind in the away section. And they're going to win. They're going to win, PSG. There's just no way that Arsenal go there and win, in my opinion. I'd like to see them do it, don't get me wrong. I'd like to see them do it because of how good that they were against Real Madrid. They deserve to be in the semi-final, but this might be one step too far for them, and PSG have just been so good. And this, if PSG knock Arsenal out, they've conquered England. They've absolutely conquered England. They beat City in the second half in that remarkable turnaround that set it all off. They knocked out Liverpool, who were the champions of England. They knocked out Aston Villa, albeit just. And they convincingly beat Arsenal at the Emirates. And it could have been more. Could have been more goals. They had plenty of chances, but this is what Arsenal need. A striker. Does a striker put that Martinelli one-on-one chance away? Probably. Does he put the Trossard chance away? Most definitely. In my opinion, let's say Isak, because Arsenal are linked with Isak. Isak scores that. Isak scores that and then gets them back in the game. Yes, they were marginally offside from the set-piece goal in which Marino scored, but ultimately it came from a set-piece. And other than those 2 one-on-ones and that set-piece goal, Arsenal didn't really have a lot, in my opinion. They didn't really have a lot to shout about in this game, and it was quite shocking to watch. It was like I expected a lot more from Arsenal because I wrote them off against Madrid. I wanted the comeback, and to see how good Arsenal were in that game. Smacked them in the first leg, controlling in the second. This was quite an unusual Arsenal performance. It was quite a Premier League-esque Arsenal performance based on their Premier League form this year. And I didn't see that one coming. I didn't see either of the games coming. I got them both wrong in the first video, so I'm hoping to do a little bit better. But I'm going PSG to win this game, and I'm going to go 3-1 to PSG. I think them at home, them at the Parc des Princes, they're going to do exactly what they did against Aston Villa. They're going to suffocate them. They're going to do what they did against Liverpool. They just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net because of an absolutely insane goalkeeper, Alisson. The way that Arsenal win this game is Raya's going to have to go and see Alisson in Liverpool, in Southport, wherever he lives, and start making notes and start training with him this week, because that is the only way that Arsenal are going to win this game. They are going to need the best goalkeeping performance we have seen this season from David Raya, from any goalkeeper, and David Raya is going to have to produce that. The best current goalkeeping performance, in my opinion, this season was Alisson at the Parc des Princes, and they walked away with a win. Then they got beat at Anfield. But Raya's going to have to be taking notes. He's going to have to be on it. The Arsenal defence is very good, we know that. But I really did think in this game, they did miss Gabriel. They missed that calm, level head next to William Saliba. I think Kiwior did okay, don't get me wrong, but they're missing him. They are missing him. And I tell you, Julian Timber, although it should have been a penalty against him, did have a good game dealing with Kvaratskhelia. He was quite quiet for his standards. But Dembele, what does Dembele do? Come up with an absolute... He's been a bit quiet. He has been a bit quiet since the game against Liverpool, since that goal at Anfield. Quiet against Villa in both legs, but 4 minutes into that game comes up with a huge goal, and it's set up this game. It really has. I just don't see a way in which Arsenal win this. But I could be wrong. Arsenal could go there and produce the performance of the century, which we have seen PSG crumble in these types of situations before. Last year against Borussia Dortmund, the one that definitely sticks out is the Manchester United one. I know it wasn't in the semi-final, but City had been there and beat PSG in the semi-final. We went there and won 2-1, and then beat them 2-1 at home, and won 4-2 on aggregate. But that's in the first leg. This is different. PSG are going to the Parc des Princes with a lead. With the league wrapped up, they don't need to play anybody at the weekend. Well, to be honest, neither are Arsenal. They're playing Bournemouth, so they're probably going to get beat in that game. But it's going to be close. It is going to be close, but I just don't think it'll be close for the whole 90. I think it'll be close up until 60. I think it'll be 1-0 to PSG. And then once they score that second and go 3-0 up, I think that'll be it. I'm going to go Dembele to score again, Kvaratskhelia to score this time, and maybe a goal from midfield, maybe a Doué screamer, or I tell you, João Neves, he deserves a goal. He deserves a goal. So I'll go with him, and I think Arsenal will score from a set piece. But Arsenal need to score first. Arsenal desperately need to score first. But I just think PSG are going to be too strong. After a dominant first leg performance and missed chances really from Arsenal, they're going to have to take those and then defend like their lives depend on it, which Arsenal are capable of doing. But I just think it's going to be too much. So I'm predicting now that Paris are going to Munich to play in the Champions League final. Could this be their year, finally, to maybe get their hands on their first Champions League? So there are my Champions League predictions. What a final that will be. And if you guys agree with me, let me know in the comments. I want to hear your predictions for the Champions League second legs down below. What an incredible season it has been in the Champions League. And we've still got 2 incredible semi-finals to go. I can't wait to watch them. I'm hoping I'm cooking with the predictions. I was wrong in the semi-final 1-leg videos. Let's hope in this one I can nail it spot on. If you guys have enjoyed, smash a like, hit the big red subscribe button if you love the Champions League. And I'll see you guys for the final predictions, where I'll be predicting the Champions League winner, the Europa League winner, and the Conference League winner. So peace out. See you then.